Hey everybody, welcome to another happy episode of my Partridge Family collection. I'm your host, Patty. I'm so happy that you're here with me. I reaching almost a year since I started or came up with this idea to put my Partridge Family collection on this format on YouTube. And I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if people would tune in. I didn't know if people would like it. I just didn't know what to expect. And almost a year later, it's reached beyond my expectations. I mean, there's just so many people who still love the Partridge Family. It still resonates with them, either the TV show or the music or just that culture that we all shared, like this shared experience. And I'm seeing it in the comments here on YouTube. I'm also seeing it with the conversations going on our social channels on TikTok and Instagram. And I don't know, it's exciting and it's surprising to me, really. I just can't believe how many people are still influenced by the Partridge Family. I mean, it evokes so many memories, I guess, in a way that TV shows of that era really did. I mean, we remember TV shows. I remember the Brady Bunch, and I remember certain episodes. I know it's all those shows that are in syndication, The Love Boat and Love American Style, and those type of shows, even like Mary Tyler Moore and some of those type of shows. I watch them on syndication and I remember them, and it brings back memories, but nothing like the Partridge Family. And I don't know if it's just that combination of the phenomenon of David Cassidy and what he meant to us, as you know, in that genre of our generation, from 7-year-olds to 14-year-olds, I guess. Or whether it's the music. Music really evokes memories. It brings you back to a certain time, certain smells and different feelings and different things like that. So I don't know, it's a phenomenon. I'm still discovering it, and I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited. Number one, to share my collection, but also number two, to meet other like-minded Partridge Family fans that who just love the show and are enthusiastic about the show, but that it means so much to them on so many different levels. On us, I should say. It means a lot to us. And it spans generations, I'm learning too. It's not just people my age, right? It's not people our age for the majority of us watching this. It's young kids, and our kids who were born after the Partridge Family run, right? 71 to or 70 to 1974. So it's just interesting to me. I'm blown away by it, and I'm just so glad that I found this forum, that we have the technology of this forum to where I can share my collection, and hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you enjoy connecting with other Partridge Family fans. And today, I have to tell you, on this episode, I am so excited to share this item with you because a lot of my Partridge Family memorabilia has special places in my heart, but this one especially so. And it is in the confines of this binder, which the binder is fairly new. I just put the binder together a few years ago because I had it in a like a just a regular 3-ring notebook. And let's open it up for you. Suspense is killing you, I know, if you haven't read the show notes yet. It is the release of the Partridge Family Topps collectible cards, trading cards. And the reason why it's so meaningful to me is because as a kid, I loved collecting. I think we all did, kind of, if we were in that generation, because what else was there to do? We didn't have any video games or movie streaming 24/7, or social media. We collected stuff. I mean, I collected bottle caps and and all the collectibles from like McDonald's, and I was in California, so In and Out and things like that, the cereal boxes and things. But trading cards, actually, I think I collected rocks, right? Did you have a rock collection? I did. Yeah, the pet rock came out, kind of destroyed the fun of the rock collecting. But yeah, but trading cards for me were it. I loved it. I love sports. I love baseball. I collected so many baseball cards. Topps was my favorite brand. I've collected, like, there was Bowman and a few other ones, and I just loved it. And I love collecting these TV show trading cards that came out. And of course, the perfect storm, Partridge Family and trading cards, and Topps releasing them. So it was so great. And The thing that is that really, I don't know, that kind of tugs at my heartstrings about this collection, my baseball cards I sold when I was 18 or 19 and put a down payment on a car. Like that was at the heyday of baseball card collecting, where you could where they were actually worth something after a while. Now they've kind of gone up and down. Trading cards are kind of like that. They go up and down in value. The Partridge Family trading cards are interesting, and we're going to go through because there were actually 3 sets released in the span of 1 year. And from what I understand, that wasn't common. There was only a few other trading cards that Topps did where they released multiple sets within 1 year. And I think that was like the Beatles, Batman, and Star Wars, where it was like the popularity of them. They're like, we need to like keep releasing sets. I had kind of a love-hate relationship with the Partridge Family cards growing up, because I felt like I was such an aficionado, if I could say, obviously not in my vocabulary, but I was an aficionado of trading cards, I felt. And I felt like they could have done so much better, of course, right? Now looking back, I'm back on board. I'm like, they were a product of their time, just like the TV show, just, like the music and everything. So I give them a little leeway. I give them a pass on some things, and we'll go over the sets. They had 3 sets that came out in 1971. Like I said, it wasn't common. And I mean, even like the Brady Bunch, I believe Topps came out with the Brady Bunch set in the same year. They just released 1 set. I mean, it's going to be supply and demand, right? So we were buying up the Partridge Family set 1, and Topps was like, we got to get a set 2 out, right? Obviously, with the Brady Bunch and some other TV shows at the time, they weren't, people weren't collecting them as much as the Partridge Family. And so I started my collection then, and I think that's kind of why too. It's kind of got a little special place in my heart, because a lot of these cards I've had since I was a kid, and I collected all 3 sets. I was missing cards here and there over the years that I've kind of picked up. I had 1 elusive card that I could not find for many years. I'm going to share that with you. It's surprising. It'll be a surprise for you. And I'm kind of like wondering, how come that card is so rare? I seldom see it. And I'll show it to you. And then we'll go through each set, and I'll kind of share with you some of the good and bad things about it, and then some of the trivia and things like that. So we'll go to the overhead. We'll take a look at the Topps trading cards. So excited. Look at all 3 sets. It's a rarity to have all 3 sets. And as a complete set, this is like I said, one of my prized possessions. And as a card collector, just blows everything else I have out of the water. So let's go to the overhead. We'll take a look at the Topps 1971 Topps Partridge Family trading cards. Let's do it. Before we go into the 3 sets that were released in 1971, I do have a couple of these, and I'm going to take them out of the plastic so you can see them. So in 2013, Topps was celebrating their anniversary, and they released a set of cards that included some very popular cards that they had produced over the years. And of course, they included the Partridge Family card. One of them has kind of like a illumination type of different colors. I don't know if you could see it. You probably see it, huh? It's kind of cool, like a party. The other one's just kind of plain, but it does have this 75-year anniversary embossed stamp from Topps. I thought about collecting that set, but I don't know. I was just more concentrating on the Partridge Family, and it has a brief story. You can see both of these cards, like the special edition one, it's got a little different backing, and it has a little bit different stock that it's printed on, kind of like a nice high gloss stock, whereas this just looks like a regular trading card. It just tells the story of the Partridge Family. This was number 56 in the set, and then it also tells you how many cards in total they released, that Topps released, of the Partridge Family, and it was 198 cards, size 2.5 by 3.5. So they give you kind of the dimensions of the cards in the original run, I guess. So I picked these up. 2013 these came out. Very cool. And you can't have a collection, I don't think, Topps trading cards without getting an unopened pack. And I believe this is the yellow border. We'll talk about the sets because each set has a different color border. And the yellow border was the first set that came out in 1971. So I believe this is the yellow, but I don't know. But I wouldn't know until I opened it up, and I'm not going to open it up. How would you like to eat the gum that's in here? Remember coming out with the Topps famous gum, stick of gum that was like a piece of cardboard. So yeah, it's sealed. I should have it in a better kind of condition than I do in this plastic then, but what the heck. I also picked up a few years ago, I picked up this, I guess a kind of a mock-up of the cover of the original wrapping. Again, part of a Topps set that they released with the cover art of their most famous cards, and this is number 74 in the collection. Little story about the Partridge Family, America's favorite musical family, and in 1971 Topps created a 55 card set to highlight the many performances. Of course, that was only set 1 with 55 cards. That's why I'm thinking that this is the first one, which was the yellow, because it very much mirrors the original wrapping. So very cool. So let's get into this set, and I'm going to do my best to try not to get a glare. I don't want to take all of these out. So I'll tell you the 3 sets that were released in 1971. They're all pretty similar in the overall sense. However, each, I believe, stands on their own with a unique numbering and different colored borders. So the first set that came out was the yellow border. The second set that came out was the blue border. And the third was green border. And this is the more rare set, I guess. They're a little harder to come by. So things kicked off early 1971 with Series 1. And again, very easily recognized by the yellow borders. A total of 55 cards make up the checklist. Most of the images come directly from the show, although you'll see they do have portraits. So they had 3 different type of backers. They had the puzzle backer, and then they had song lyrics, which was great because we didn't have the song lyrics in the albums at that time. So to have the song lyrics on the back of the cards was super great. And then you had actor bios. So card number 3 has David Cassidy's bio. When you're looking at cards, obviously, you want to make sure you get a nice even cut. Like this one is kind of cut close to the top. I wouldn't call that probably a good card, not mint, not even near mint, I don't think, just because of the cut. But you want like clean edges, like this one's got kind of a little crease. So if you're real particular about your cards, with the Partridge Family, I get what I get. Some of these cards, like I said, I've had since I was a kid. I always kept them in plastic sheets. Nowadays, they're polyethylene sheets, so they're have a little bit more protectiveness, I guess. So we'll take a look through here. Very cool. And I said I had a love-hate relationship with these cards growing up, and only because I really didn't like that. The thing that kind of bugged me, I guess, as a kid. Now it doesn't really bug me. I'm like, whatever. I don't know who wrote these little captions here, but sometimes they just didn't like meet what the picture was. And it seems like they just kind of threw together some of these captions. Lori at the keyboard, right? That's evident. On the road, doing his thing. There was some like home at last. They just didn't. Danny disagrees. And these are, you probably recognize, these are all from season 1. Now the records, some of them come from the Partridge Family album. Some of them come from Up to Date. So you'll recognize, I think the early cards, most of them were lyrics off of the Partridge Family album, the debut album. So great. And you can see the numbering system on this first set, it's with 24 or 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and then 28, 29, 30. So that it went all the way up to number 55.
Yeah, so that was kind of my beef, I guess, when I was a kid. I wasn't like really crazy about these captions. As if my 8-year-old self could have done it better. Or 7, however old I was. But I love these cards. I just loved them. So that was the first release. The second release, of course, Topps was saying, this sold so many. We did such a great job with this. Let's release another series. And they came out with the second series in that same year of 1971. The only different, now there's a couple of different things here. One, of course, is they went with a blue border instead of a yellow border, so people can tell the difference right away. The other thing was the numbering system. So the first series ended with card number 55. There were also 55 cards in the blue border series. So this was number 55, and then the numbering system kind of changes. So they made it 1A. So the first card of the second series is 1A, 2A, 3A, all the way up to 55A. I didn't like that. I don't know why. I felt like they maybe should have just went with 56, but I guess they're trying to differentiate between the two releases. So those are some of the differences. Again, they went with the puzzle pieces in the back, but this time they added a Q&A. So like an Ask David Cassidy. Did you ever get stage fright? And luckily I don't get too nervous when I'm performing. Of course, I'm concerned whether the people like my music, but I'm not too uptight about it when I'm on the stage. So he's got like the blurbs here, questions, and then of course the puzzle. So they didn't have the song lyrics in the second release, but they did have the Ask David Cassidy Q&A, which is cool. Any of these cards bring back any memories? They do for me, for sure. I love this card. I have some bonus cards I'm going to show you too after we get done looking at these. So there's 55 cards ending with 55A. What a groovy guy. All right, so 55A ends with Shirley Jones again, right? We had 55 ending with Shirley. All right, let's see if the trend continues. So then they released Series 3, and this is both the largest and the rarest set of them all. We see the checklist grows to 88 for the green bordered cards. So instead of the 55 like we got in the first two sets, we get bonus. We get 88 cards in the green set. And the approach is a little different as well. Many of the images still highlight the show, highlight that first season. However, a lot of the cards name the actors and label and number them as portraits. This was another thing that kind of bugged me, and I'm going to show you why. But not surprisingly, the majority of these are centered on David Cassidy as well. And others do as well, but just not in the same quantity as this set. And we'll show you what we mean. The numbering is also different, right? They go to B now. So they start off with 1B, and it goes all the way up to 88B. And we'll see there's a trend. There's more David Cassidy cards than ever. But that's okay. Very cool. So they go back to the song lyrics. They still have the puzzle. This was still the blue set. They still have the puzzles and then the song lyrics. Danny and the draft board. See, this is like, no pictures, please. Well, he was drafted. Like this caption has nothing to do with that episode. That's kind of what bugged me. Can you tell it still kind of bugs me? Not as much as it used to. So now we're seeing songs from Up to Date. Lots of David Cassidy cards. I'm going to show you the all elusive card that eluded me for so many years. I'm going to show that to you in a second, but these are the green set. I think probably the most popular, and maybe that's why it's so rare. I mean, It was popular. It had more cards in it. They maybe didn't print as many as they should have. But it is very rare to find this. If you go on eBay, you can find a lot of these cards on eBay or Etsy or some other like trading card type of auction houses and trading card companies. But the green cards are more rare. Up-to-date albums, puzzle pieces. Dave Madden. All scenes from season 1. You probably recognize these. So here's where the departure for the green cards comes in as well. They included these portrait cards. And this is kind of what bugged me about these too. So the portrait cards are not numbered the way that they should be. So you can see it's got this. Here's portrait card 15, 8, 28. But as a card collector, you always want to put your cards in as they're numbered on the back, right? So we have, 53B, 54B, 55B rather, and you can't see the number on here, but it's 56B, 57B, 58B. So they're in order, as far as like the card set, but the portrait numbers, like, what? Come on. Put the portrait numbers like in sync with the back of the cards. They didn't do that. But we got portraits and we got little autographs. That's something that we didn't have in sets 1 and 2. So how can you complain? And a lot of David. Doot, doot. A lot of David. David in concert. All your puzzle pieces. Oh, and also advertisements for the Partridge Family fan club. Somebody came up with that idea. They're like, well, what else are we going to put on the back? I know. Let's do it a little advertisement for those 2 kids out there who have not joined yet. So the portrait cards are a big part of the series number 3. It takes us a long time to get to portrait card number 1, which I think I have a couple of those, yeah. It's David Cassidy and his fringe. So great. Partridge Family portraits. And they only came out with 3 sets in 1 year, which was 1971, which of course was the year of Jeremy Gelbwatz. So we didn't get trading cards with Brian Forster, which is a shame. I wish they would have gone into 1972, but there's a very short shelf life with these TV show type trading cards. I got back to back, joined the Partridge Family fan club. There. So on this page is the very rare elusive card that eluded me for so many years. Like I said, I had dealers looking for me. I had friends looking for me. I scoured eBay and like any other type of place where you get trading cards, and I could never find it. Would you guess? Would you guess that the card is portrait card number 30, Susan Day? This spot was blank for so many years, and every time I would open this, it would just... I'm not a completist, I don't think. Sometimes the collectors are completists where they have to have that. But for some reason, this just irked me. I'm like, I need this to complete my set, and I can't find it. Where is it? And why is it so rare? Well, a few years ago, somebody had this, had like 100, they had like 100 random cards in a set. And like different cards too, not just Partridge Family. And I saw that this was included. They would not just sell me this card, so I had to buy that whole set. I think it cost me like $100. Pretty crazy, but it was worth it because I got this card and it is in very good condition. It's the puzzle piece on the back, 84B. I had 84B tattooed to my arm, pretty much. The fan club advertisement. And Susan Day's very attractive picture. I don't know why it was so rare. Maybe it was just because they didn't print enough. I know sometimes that happened with cards. but I got it. It's mine. If you run across one of these cards ever, and you're somewhat of a collector, buy it up, because they're not out there. They're very rare. Take my word for it. So you got a lot of portrait cards. Made this last set very special, I think. What is that last card? Well, the trend continued. The very last card in the set is of Shirley Jones. 88B. I have other sheets in here because I'm just waiting for the day when they release a fourth set. It hasn't happened yet. So the other thing that I really want to show you real quick, I don't have all of these. And they're the Topps posters that came out. I don't know if you've ever seen these, or maybe, I don't know when another time would come up where I would share them with you, but there's not a lot of these out here. I don't have the complete set. You see them once in a while on eBay, and they're extraordinarily expensive. I think there's 24 posters, and Topps released poster versions, I guess, of the cards. As a kid, I remember getting a couple packs, but I think they were very expensive, and you only got one poster. It was really hard to collect all of them. Like I said, there's like 24 in the set. So this is number 2 of 24. I even hate to open them because they're so fragile. Picked them up over the years. I normally catalog all my items, and so I have these cataloged, but off the top of my head I can't remember how many I have. I guess one day maybe I'll try collecting them all. I don't see, like, I don't know. I'm not one of those with like deep pockets. So when I come across like one that's being sold for $75 or something like that, I'm like, ugh, would you pay $75 for this? I don't know. I guess it all depends on the collector. Here, well, I guess it's separated, but it would take a lot, I guess, for me to collect all 24. As you can see, I have quite a few here, so I might have to revisit my old spreadsheet and see how many more I actually need to complete this set. I don't have any doubles. They're very, so you can see them tearing already. The paper is just so thin. If I pick these up, I'll pick them up at a card show once in a while, or if I'm on eBay and it's, they're being bid on, and there's, and within my budget, I'll get one. But if you were to get this whole set, like complete 1 through 24, I think it probably would be valued pretty high. I think it'd probably be valued at like over $400, maybe $350 to $400. But sometimes you can get these one-off for like $75, $65, like very expensive. But I have these in the back of this book, and then I also have this is what they came in, and like I said, they were based on the Topps cards. You get 1 stick of bubble gum, and then you get 1 poster. And these were somewhat expensive, so I don't remember like getting a bunch of them. I had a couple of them. But very cool to have. I have it part of my Topps collection. And one other thing I want to show you before we end this exciting episode. I'll show you kind of a couple bonus cards I have that have autographs on them that I picked up at card shows over the years. So this is the yellow, this here. And these are graded cards with authentic PSA graded and authentic autographs. Danny Bonaducci. And it was funny because I was listening to a podcast recently with Danny Bonaducci on it, and he said of all of the memorabilia and things that he has from the Partridge Family era, the one thing that he said was one of his prized possessions was the trading card, Topps trading cards with him on it. He just thought that was the coolest thing. I thought it was interesting. Like to have your own trading card. I guess that would be kind of cool. So Danny Bonaducci signed this. And the other card I have that's really cool, and you've probably seen it on my shelf in the back, sometimes I have it displayed, is the Shirley Jones signed card from the second set that was released. And again, it's PSA DNA certified in this case. Very cool. And I don't display them a lot just because they have autographs on them, and as we know, with sunlight and things like that, they can fade the autographs after a while, especially on this type of cardboard with black Sharpie. Sometimes they fade, so I don't display them all the time. But that's a pretty cool addition to my Topps collection, I think, that I thought maybe you'd like to get a kick out of seeing. So how fun is it to go back and look at those trading cards, a Partridge Family trading card set by Topps, released in 1971, all 3 sets released in the same year. So great to go back and look at those, and also the posters, right? That 75-year anniversary special edition cards. That was a cool little gift that came out of 2013. And then the posters as well, which I have cataloged them. Maybe we'll show those a little bit more in depth at a later date as I continue this collection. The elusive Lori Partridge Susan Day portrait card. Why is it so rare? Well, if you're a collector and you're trying to collect these green bordered cards, there were more cards, obviously, than the first 2 sets with 88 cards, and they weren't printed in the quantity that the first 2 sets were. So they are going to be a little bit harder to come by, which is probably why they're out there, but they're expensive and they're kind of on the rare side. So if you're a collector of the green border, good luck to you. All the best. If you run across this Lori Partridge portrait card, grab it up, because it's not going to last very long for the collectors out there. Gee, I sure hope that you're enjoying my Partridge Family collection. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's like such an honor for me to share it with you. It's also very humbling for me, because I'm just like reaching out to people and having people contact me and talking about Partridge Family and how much it meant to them, and the collectibles, a big part of that, I think, big part of that, along with the TV show and the music, of course, and of course our love for David Cassidy that we still have. So if you do like the show, remember, sorry, I didn't mean to point at you. Did you hate that when people point at you? If you'd like, hit the bell. That'll notify you when a new episode drops. We don't want you to miss any new episodes. And then also give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. All those things help other people to find the show, as well as I just like to see your comments and talk to you as well. So, but yeah, we wanted to know there's other Partridge Family fans out there, and we want to share this collection with them, also commune with them and let them know that they're not alone. I thought I was alone to about a year ago when I started this show. I didn't know that there was a whole community of Partridge Family fans out there who are just itching, dying to talk to others, and just like me. So really appreciate it. Appreciate that you're tuning in, and hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time.